right, we're back in New Orleans off Bourbon Street, getting ready for the Super Bowl. Paige Spiranac is here. She's amazing. I met you last night, and we hit it off. And there's a couple things I wanted to establish with you right off the bat. First of all, Las Pages is badass. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about something more important. You were the sexiest woman alive, and you are still the sexiest woman alive. Are you surprised? Because I have been devastated that I have not yet been named the sexiest man alive. I have been troubled by this for years, and it has thrown me off my game. Now that you've won the award and have dominated the award, what advice can you give me to win that award? I mean, look at me.
I mean, they just want to keep you humble. Like,
humble.
One man can't have it all, you know?
You know what I mean?
I totally understand it, but...
It's awful.
They just want to keep you,
no,
right where you are.
I'm not going to be humble. Now, listen, you know why I like you? Because your dad played and won a national championship at Pitt in 1976.
Yeah.
There is nothing better than that your parents are from Pittsburgh, and I'm from Pittsburgh, and I do not like the fact at all that you're from Colorado. That sucks. You should be from Pittsburgh. We could have run off together, you and I.
So if we were born in Pittsburgh, we would have been together.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Well, I mean...
And then you went out to the thin air and started hitting golf balls, and you didn't have time to be in the Steel City eating Permani sandwiches and going to Steeler games with me. What's wrong with you?
I mean, if that was my diet every single day, I don't think you would have liked me as much, right?
You're probably right.
Okay.
But you really can hit a golf ball, I got to tell you. I told you I was a 6 when I lived in California. Now, you and I went through a litany of golf courses yesterday. You were disappointed in me that I didn't mention Oakmont first. I've been to the U.S. Open there several times. I mentioned great courses, but some of the ones I didn't mention to you that I like playing, Torrey Pines,
yep,
Riviera.
Yeah.
I think I got thrown out of Riviera drunk golfing once in a pro-am.
Checks out.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I like Palm Springs the best in the West. I'm afraid of rattlesnakes. I don't go after balls when they go in the rock.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll hit one right or left. You hit them straight. You don't have that problem, but I don't go near rocks.
Not always. So I grew up playing mountain courses in Colorado.
Right.
Ball flies forever. I don't love desert golf. I feel like it gets a bit redundant after a while. I love East Coast golf. Right. I feel like that is the best type of golf.
Did you play, because you live outside of New York, have you ever played Manhattan Woods?
I haven't played. I had
an 85 there.
I'm pretty sure that... Is that men only?
No.
Okay.
Because my buddy and his wife are members, and I played there. Now, listen, I played in the Bob Hope Mafia Classic in Palm Springs, and I shot a 76. I turned a 76. That was when I was a good golfer. But when I moved...
What'd you shoot on the back nine?
No, listen, I had a 76, the greatest round of my life. When I looked up, I thanked God and everything else, and I yelled my mother's name. She died, and I was like, this is the greatest day of my life. I had a 76. But then, when I moved to New York, I quit playing golf because I picked up alcohol, and I don't play golf anymore. I play basketball.
Yeah.
But I just don't golf as much. So when I played Manhattan Woods, I had an 85. I hadn't played in 2 years, and I still turned an 85. I'm not even lying to you.
Hold on.
I can hit a
we
golf
need to
ball.
back up for a second. So you stopped playing golf because of alcohol, but then turned to basketball?
Yeah, because I played basketball my whole life, and I love playing
basketball. But golf and alcohol, they're hand in hand.
I get mad golfing. Like, I get really mad when I have a bogey, and it lasts for like 3 more holes.
Okay.
So I'll go bogey, maybe double, because I'm still so mad about the goddamn bogey I had 3 holes ago that I turn into a double bogey 3 holes later.
Yeah.
Now, let's get down to business. Las Pages. I watch the Las Pages shows, and I got to tell you, when people see these shows on your YouTube channel, it's going to revolutionize the world. It is the greatest show ever. It's funny, and you know what I like? You have balls. I mean, the stuff you do on that show, you are half crazy. I like a woman that's half crazy. You're half crazy. Some of the stuff you did in there, and I don't even want to mention it because I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but trust me, you're going to be tripping when you see what chick does on this show. You're an animal.
Yeah, episode 1, we were cleaning dirty balls, golf balls, that is.
Dirty
and then the next one was I had to eat a double stacked burger.
I saw the burger. You made the Carl's Jr. commercial look like a mistake. You killed that burger. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
My jaw, I mean, I'm sacrificing my life.
Did you get lockjaw?
Oh, I had lockjaw. I still have a bit of a click in my jaw
I think
now.
You should sue SportsGrid for your lockjaw. I really do. Now listen, my favorite episode was the golf ball, the golf ball cleaner.
Yeah, dirty balls.
Yeah, it was really. And then how about you were in the ice cold water
Yes.
I saw you on the craps table with the chips.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun props, and people can write in and send more that they want to see me do. But we have it was a lot of fun to get down and dirty.
So listen. Your guys, Lasky and F, these guys are working with you on this show. Those are my friends. I've known those guys forever. They're dangerous. You guys together, I'm thinking Emmys. I think you're going to take over the world.
You think Dirty Balls is going to win an Emmy?
Dirty Balls is going to win every single Emmy. All of them. It's awesome. Now, tell them the secret. The shows are so great that you're going to do more of them. I'm hearing that you have signed a multi-year deal and will never stop doing props.
The lockjaw, though, is a little concerning. We created Las Pages, which is a destination for fantasy, casino, betting, lifestyle. And so Gimme Props is just the first step of what we want to build out. And we're just trying to have as much fun as possible. I think people in social media and sports just take themselves way too seriously. Yeah. And so we just want to show, I know, we just want to show a different side to what we can do and have so much fun along the way.
I've seen you already capitalize on the web, like the internet. You've taken over the world, like as an influencer. But this is something I never expected from you, which is so cool. You did something I never, thought I'd see coming. Like you went from that where you're doing all your slow-mo stuff, you're looking incredible, millions of men are obsessed with you, and then it's all golf. And the next thing you know, you're doing all this crazy, insane, wild stuff for SportsGrid on Las Pages. I think it shows a whole new side of you that's kick-ass, and I think fans are going to love it. So let me ask you, now that you're doing it and having this much fun, when you walk around this nightmare, like last night, to me, I felt like a steer.
Yeah.
In literally the rodeo. I was a cattle. There were so many media, crushing of media. The only thing good that happened to me last night was that I met you. Everything else was a nightmare. I felt like a piece of meat in there. When you walk through here and every single guy here wants you, what is that like? Is that stressful? Because I feel stressed for you. I'm stressed out for you.
As an international sex symbol, you know how it feels when you're walking around and everyone is just clawing at you. You are the better version. I want to be you.
Not with this gut. Honestly. Like I'm giving birth in March. You didn't know?
Congratulations.
So it's always good. I'm very happy for you. So when you filmed the episodes and you got all crazy, and like when you ate that hamburger, you had literally sauce all over your face, and I was worried for you. You're too beautiful. And then I was like, what is happening now? You shoved a hamburger that was the size of a Chevy into your mouth, and it was one of the greatest scenes in American television history. What? And you've got lockjaw from it. What is next? Who comes up with these ideas? Lasky? You?
People are writing in.
I don't care about those people. They do not deserve to know you.
No, they're actually bets from people who exist in this world who want to see me, get down with a burger.
I'm predicting upwards of, I'm going to say 500 million people in the first 3 months will be addicted to the show. 500 million.
Well, that's the plan. Again,
shatter all television.
We just want to have a lot of fun, and I've done stuff like this in the past where, I feel like a good sense of humor and I like to show it off. And this kind of originally started where people were the hot dog eating challenge was something that I always wanted to do, and every 4th of July, and I was like, I could eat a ton of hot dogs in 10 minutes. And, people loved it. And I was like, you know what? Let's do more of this. Like, I want to have fun with it. You had so much fun with it, but you said at times, with your career in golf and everything, people were like abusing you online. Who's laughing now? Still those same people.
I hate those people. I hate them all.
The food has just changed. Before it was a hot dog and now it's a burger. I'm just stuffing it in my mouth.
I hope they all get diarrhea. And I mean it. Listen, I love you. It's been great to meet you. Congratulations. Las Pages is going to be a huge success. I know it. You know it. We all know it. It's fantastic meeting you. Tell your parents that I love them and the Steelers.
I will.
Thanks.
Thank you.
we're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, that girl.
Honestly, Thomas Dimitroff's here. It's so loud in my head that I think I may start bleeding my eardrums.
What do you mean loud?
I think it's loud. Is it not just? Is it just me?
Am I supposed to have?
Oh, you can't hear.
I can't hear.
You can only just hear me.
Yes.
Oh, thank God for that. I'm taking the brunt of the noise. I just wanted to let you know.
I got it.
So it's really hot. It's good to see you.
Good. Thank you. Good to see you.
Of course. Thomas, my longtime dear friend, used to be the GM of the Falcons. He's the CEO of Sumer Sports. I had Lindsay here the other day.
Lindsay Rhodes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Lindsay, so I had her on, and when it was over, first of all, she didn't know what to think of me. I was like, I thought I scared the hell out of her, right? So I did this interview with her, and I said afterwards to her handler, I said, is she all right? Did I offend her? Did I scare her? What happened? And he told me she loved it. She had a blast. It was like going on a roller coaster. She said it was fun. She had a good time. But her facial expression, I think maybe it was my voice, my gravelly voice.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was my sexy, intimidating looks. You could see that Paige Spiranac was clearly in love with me.
Yes, she was.
Could you feel the pull? I mean,
I could feel it, and I was wondering if you guys were talking golf or you were talking about something else.
Right, there was something else. There was something going on there special, like a bonding, a love affair, possibly. I told you.
Is she worth a lot of money?
She is worth a lot of money. So I told you when it was over, I go, I could be her dad.
I know.
I'm twice her age, right?
You're not twice her age. How old is she? She's got to be 40, right?
No. She's it's none of my business. Let's just say I'm going to tell you how old I am. Okay,
You're my age.
I'm
58.
I'm 59, going on 60.
Right.
And so July I'll be 60. So she's could be my daughter. So when I was a kid, my dad was 30 years older than me. So you do the math.
Yeah, I got it.
So
yeah.
I could be her dad. Let's just pretend it's my situation.
Yeah.
So I would never tell anyone how old a woman was, but I would guess that I already know how old she is.
Okay.
And she's just kind of like me and my dad and mom, when I was a kid.
I got it, yeah.
But she's I always knew her as a influencer, a golfer.
Yeah.
And obviously her looks, she's one of the sexiest women in the world, and she is now working with SportsGrid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's doing a show called Las Pages, and it's on YouTube, and it's going to lure her millions of followers to watch her do prop bets that are insane. So she does a game show where she does crazy things. They made her clean golf balls, and she's naked and she's cleaning golf balls with a golf ball cleaner, and you can imagine the rest. She does things like she ate a hamburger the size of a Chevrolet, and she had she could only have 5 bites, and the thing was the size of a car, and she was able to eat the hamburger. So she's doing cool stuff, and it's called Las Pages. So how is Sumer Sports going? And more importantly, I wanted to ask you. I'm on the air at least every day. I think at least 5 times I mentioned that you were interviewing
for the Jets and the Tennessee. Both. Yeah.
So I mentioned it like 5 times, and I was actually rooting for you to get back into the NFL. Yeah. I know that with Sumer, you're in the NFL. You're helping all these teams with analytics and college teams and everything else. Compare where you are a year ago in Vegas to where you are today in terms of the company, the growth, your happiness, and you obviously still went back in because you're interviewing for GM jobs.
Yeah, look, I think we're really evolving on the tech side on Sumer Sports, right? In that role, we're at 75 strong. When we first started talking about this, there were 3 of us,
right?
So we're really evolving. There's a lot there. The backing of Paul Tudor Jones, big deal. That keeps growing. We have 5 former general managers, about 20 other scouts, NFL scouts. That creates all of our subjective side. Pair it with all the objectivity. We think we're a really hot third party, and that's why we're here. To your point, I miss the hell out of what I've been doing all of my life, right? The evaluating side,
right?
Building a team, evaluating,
drafting.
Yeah, and I'm very fortunate to be with Sumer, as you can imagine. I love working for him, and I also would love to have an opportunity again, and that's why I interviewed. And the Jets situation, I thought that they were going to be looking for an experienced guy. That's what, at the outset, that's why I interviewed there, right? I wasn't going there just to be hey, here's an experienced guy we're going to learn something from, right? I wanted to truly, I thought there was a parallel for me, Scotty, where I was like, Atlanta was so downtrodden when Mike Smith and I went in there, as you remember.
Right.
And I thought there was some parallels there. Would have an opportunity to go in there and resurrect this team.
Did you, were you disappointed? Because I said on the air that these teams, it would appear to me, follow a real similar fashion with one another. They go after these assistants that have been working for a GM in a market like they did with the Denver guy, and they all do the same thing. They hire these assistants that have been in the role of GM in training, if you will, for that job, instead of someone that's taken teams to a Super Bowl, and I think it's a bad idea. They all do the same thing. I said about this guy, no offense to him, I don't know him from Adam, and I'm a huge fan of yours. I love you.
Thank you.
But I said it was a mistake.
Oh, you're talking about the Darren Muji hire, right?
Yes, yeah. I said no one's ever heard of him. I don't know him. I don't care. Like, if I've never heard of you, I've been in this 41 years. Yeah. I know everyone. If I've never heard of you, you can't be better than Thomas Dimitroff. That was I said it live on television.
I see.
I don't have any feelings. I could care less what the guy thinks of me.
I understand.
I don't give a rat's ass. Right. I was rooting for you, and I thought they made a bad choice. Yeah. And I think that I think their head coach doesn't like it either. Because that's not his choice.
Yeah.
He's working with some dude he'd never met.
Yeah. No,
you don't even know him. Well, good luck with that. That's like marrying a chick you met on 90 Day Fiancé.
You know that city. Is that city harsh?
They're going to eat him alive.
Too inexperienced, like the inexperienced.
I think he'll do fine because he played there.
Yes.
And people know him.
Yeah.
I think this new GM of theirs, he came on and said, we're gonna win. We're gonna win a title. We're gonna do all this. Be careful what you wish for in New York, because when you say that, he has opened up a can of worms. They are gonna eat him alive. They eat everyone alive in New York. Eventually, they eat everyone alive. Every single coach and GM gets eaten alive. Brian Dable was coach of the year. Now the guy he lost 200 pounds because he couldn't eat. He was so stressed out.
Yeah, he was stressed.
And
right.
Shane, he went from being a genius in Buffalo to the biggest idiot clown in New York, and they treat him like he's stupid.
Yeah.
Because every movie made, they had him on Hard Knocks looking like an idiot.
Yeah,
he got exposed. I've never seen you ever in a light of being an idiot. Don't go anywhere. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to Thomas Dimitroff.
going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Listen, you already knew, TD, that I wore cool shoes. But you may have seen these
Those
before.
are cool. Tell me about them.
Those are KD's, the separate shoes.
Yeah.
They're both different. But
yeah.
I wore these New Balances yesterday that are so badass. They blow these away. They're the new 25 New Balances.
They blow them away.
New Balance is getting hot. I wore the Kawhis playing basketball. I wore them out. They were so great. The shoes were great. I was stunned because I always knew New Balance was kind of soft.
Yeah,
There's like Skechers or whatever.
Yeah,
They're like dad shoes. You know what I mean? Like I don't. But I have to tell you, those shoes.
Yeah, I knew you'd appreciate
honestly,
them.
what is going on there? Are those? What kind of shoes are those?
I knew you'd say that. You might be like,
honestly, those are like those. I have seen shoes here. Like I'm a shoe guy. I collect shoes.
Yeah.
I got 200 pairs of shoes.
I knew you did.
And those shoes. Like last night, I interviewed Jawan Taylor, and he had some really cool shoes on.
Yeah.
And I started the interview with the camera on his shoes. I didn't even know who he was. I could care less who he was.
Right.
The starting tackle, whatever, defensive tackle. I said, listen, I interviewed him, and I had the camera on his shoes. And I said, those are the greatest shoes I've ever seen in my life. And then I panned up to his face and started interviewing him. He didn't know what to think of me. But those are Ferragamos.
These are Ferragamos, yeah.
Do you remember when Vince Ferragamo played the Steelers in the Super Bowl?
Remember it.
I was there.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was there in Los Angeles.
When was that?
In
what
1979.
Year? Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was 14 years old. So I went to all 8 Steelers Super Bowls. I went to 6 of the 8 with my father. And then in the last 2, I screwed him over. Like I couldn't get him a ticket, so I left him. I didn't. So one year, here's the story. It gets better. So he died. God bless him. He was a great guy. One year, it was at Qualcomm. It was the Packers and Broncos. And I was with this hot blonde that looked like Paige, the girl that was just here.
Yeah.
So I was with this hot blonde, and she was, let's just say, had it all going. I mean, she had it all going. A surfer chick from California. Yeah. And I said, you want to go to the Super Bowl with me? Of course, that's a yes every time.
Right?
So I had this hot chick with me. I'm smoking hot. And
do you guys spend the whole week together?
Mafia, can I say stacked on TV? No? Oh. No. Oh, sorry. I just did. Anyway, so I told my dad the whole time he was staying at this we were staying at this fancy hotel. Don't worry, I said, I'll get you a ticket. The whole week we're there. Don't worry, I'm going media night. It's automatic. I'll get you a ticket. Don't worry, it's automatic. This is back in the day of scalping.
Yeah.
It was easy.
Oh, right.
And it wasn't. Tickets weren't $20,000, $50,000. Right. So it get closer and closer. Friday, Saturday. So we get to game day, and I got no ticket for him. And then we're in the parking lot, and I'm walking around, I'm sweating, walking around with her and him, and this chick, we're drinking, and I'm like, hey, I need one. I just need one. I'll pay anything. Never got the ticket. So I had 2 tickets, and they were front row in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
So I was literally row 1 to the right of the goalpost, and I'm sitting there with her, and obviously I told him I can't get in, and he's like, "F you," and I go, "You lose. Sorry, Dad. I'm going in with this. Look at her. You want to go in with her? That'll look funny." I go, "I'm going in with her, but I love you. Have a nice flight home." So he literally gave me the finger, left, and flew home. Didn't talk to me for 6 months. And I went in with her, and NBC was doing the Super Bowl. They showed this chick 35 times during the game. I'm literally on that Super Bowl 35 times. You see me sitting with this smoking hot chick, and people are like, "Is that Ferrall? Is that right? Is that Ferrall with that chick?" Wait, most people were like looking at her.
Yeah.
A couple of my friends were like, "Jesus Christ, that's Ferrall with that chick." And I left my dad out in the parking lot, and he never talked to me again. Then he died. And then at least he left me his Steelers season tickets.
Okay, yeah.
So I have them to this day.
Still have them, but you use them?
I want you to be the Steelers GM because I'm not a fan of Omar Shaka Khan. He's another one I don't like. You know why? Because he keeps bringing in players that suck, that they don't get it done. All they do is lose in December. I've about had it with Tomlin losing in December. He wins every game that doesn't matter. So what they really need is TD. They need Thomas Dimitroff. You're a man of the people. You need to work in the Steel City with your Ferragamos.
I wouldn't be wearing those out there. But
you know what's great about you, TD, is that you still have that big brow of hair. You don't have any, mane. No, I have an area of concern back here, and they have me facing people walking by. So every person, hundreds of thousands of people that walk by me during the show have all said, "Hey, you see Ferrall's losing hair?" And then when they see you, they say, "Man, Thomas Dimitroff still has all that beautiful hair. He's older, but he's really got a thick head of hair."
I know.
There's nothing better than a guy with a thick head of hair. TD, it's great to see you. Congrats with Sumer Sports. I love you. I'm always rooting for you for every GM job.
I love that. Thank you. Thanks for it.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
I got to tell you, this is the most exciting interview I've done yet on the show from New Orleans, because I believe they're going to show me at some point here standing on, there it is. I'm standing now on the set in Radio Row, because I told him yesterday, Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News and Fox Sports and, of course, the Big Ten Network, because he's on the take for the Indiana Hoosiers. I told him, I said, I want to interview Mike DeCourcy while standing up like a game show host. And also I told him that my onions were getting crushed for 3 hours yesterday in a director's chair because I had blue jeans on, and the material of the director's chair and the jeans were causing, let's just say, friction underneath the south rim of the Grand Canyon. I was having problems with my onions, and I said, would it be possible if I could do a show standing up? And my guy Frank and my guy Carl got it done for me. Look, Mike, I'm standing up in the Super Bowl doing a show live. I think it's way better than sitting. Can you feel me, Mike DeCourcy?
I will tell you, Scott, that I did not come here expecting to talk about epididymitis, but hey, it's your show.
You're right. Elephantitis. He knew it. You knew it because I had it. The story was there was I don't even remember when it was. When was it, Mafia? So 2 years ago, I did a show and I got that disease. And after the show was over, I went to the hospital and they unwound my onion and they told me that I had epididymitis, whatever the hell it is. I can't even say it, but that's what it is. It's elephantitis of the onions. That's basically what it is, right, Mike? I got it down. You knew it. What are you, a doctor on General Hospital?
I mean, I've had my share. I mean, I've been around for a while, so it can be less severe than apparently yours was, because I never needed hospitalization, but it does happen. And those blue jeans, man, if they're too tight, they're a problem.
So I remember doing the show, and the night it happened, I remember leaving, and I went into the hospital. I walked in like this. I was walking like this into the ER, and then they told me to sit and wait, and I sat sideways on the side of a sofa with my danglers off the edge of the sofa, and I said I was in agony, and then they went in and they just told me to move on. The red phone just rang, Mike. I'm in trouble now. I'm in trouble in New Orleans. It didn't take long for Mike DeCourcy to get me in trouble at Radio Row. All right, so let's change subjects so everyone here at the Christian Network can feel good about themselves. Let's talk about John Calipari. You wrote an article about he needed to, he deserved a better fate than to go back to Rupp Arena and get abused by fans. Well, who did the abusing on Saturday when Cal went back to Rupp and what he did to the Wildcats?
One wonders if they had been kinder upon his entry, whether or not it would have gone the same way. But I know this is kind of a reach, but you'll appreciate this, Scott, as someone who grew up in Western Pennsylvania. When I was in college, I played softball for a radio station where I was interning. And one day we played a game or a series of games in Three River Stadium. And I'm telling you, I could have flown up to the top of the wall and snagged everything. I hit everything I swung at. It was just total inspiration because of where I was playing. And I think that happened with all the Arkansas players who were going back to Kentucky and facing the people who made them feel like they weren't quite good enough. And now they weren't quite good enough. They did lose to Oakland in the first round of last season's tournament. But I think they all wanted a little vengeance for that. And they certainly got it. Adu Thiero, another Western Pennsylvania guy, did a phenomenal job in that game. DJ Wagner maybe had the best game of his college career, which is it's a really nice thing for him because he had struggled a lot of this season. It was big. Zvonimir Micic also had a big game. All the Kentucky guys that went back with Cal had huge games. And I guess we could say Cal did too because his team came out the victor.
They really have struggled this year. And there was, talk of buyer's remorse in Fayetteville, which is insanity. You and I both knew that it wasn't going to be with immediacy that he went down there with the, frankly, the mess that he picked up to take that job. I think he got away from a job that's really unpleasable. You can't win. I mean, at Rupp, they think you should win every game and win the title every year. They're unrealistic. They're insane. And so he got away from that nightmare, and he went to build another program because he had already built Kentucky into a national champion. He'd already done his job there, and then why sit around and get abused? But when he went down there, all they've been doing is ripping him because they haven't been winning every game because they're, I guess, as stupid as the fans are in Lexington.
Well, I don't think it's the fans in Lexington who are doing it, Scott. I think it's the people who don't like him elsewhere, and they are legion, as you may know. He has lots of detractors in the media in particular, and beyond that in fandoms elsewhere. And so they use this opportunity to say, hey, look, if you can get it done at Louisville in a year, why can't you get it done in Arkansas in a year? Well, it's not always the same. He's had a few injuries. He's had players that weren't 100% healthy that he was counting on to be significant contributors. He lost Boogie Fland, his terrific point guard for the year. So there are circumstances. You can't expect everything to happen in a year. If it does, like it has for Mark Pope at Kentucky, good for you. That's awesome. But if it doesn't, you can't right away be saying, well, if others can do it, you should be doing it too.
So let's shift gears, Mike, and talk about Sunday's game. How do you feel about the rematch between the Eagles and Chiefs that we saw a couple of years ago? How much do you think has changed as we go into this showdown between Mahomes and Hurts?
Well, in a lot of ways, I think that the addition of Saquon Barkley makes this not even really a rematch. I mean, it's still the Chiefs and still the Eagles, but it's as if you have Donovan McNabb going up against Alex Smith. I mean, it's just two totally different teams because of Saquon. Does he change the game is the question. And that's up to the Eagles line and the play calling and, of course, Saquon himself and how the Chiefs handle it. But Saquon has been an absolute phenomenon in his first year with the Eagles and has redefined the position of running back in a lot of ways. The idea that running backs can't be tremendous difference makers in the NFL and that they're all kind of a dime a dozen, he's blown that up. Obviously, he's not the only one. Derrick Henry did as well. But they are showing that the identity of the person carrying the football matters. And Saquon, I'm very fascinated to see whether he can be the difference maker in this game or he can be a difference maker and Patrick Mahomes still makes all kinds of ridiculous plays and wins the game for the Chiefs.
So, Spagnuolo's defense has been notorious in these Super Bowls. I think the greatest assistant coach ever. I mean, we've seen him be a head coach. He went back to being an assistant. As an assistant, he's won all these rings. He's got 4 rings now. And what do you think he's drawing up to stop Barkley? Because that's the key to this football game.
Well, I think part of it is just making sure that the initial gaps aren't there at the line. And that's because remember, most of the damage that Saquon does is interior. It's not that he can't get outside the edge, but what makes him great is the ability to get through the middle. It's one of the gaps or the other, but to get through the interior of the line and then start taking on defensive backs. That's what makes him great. And so they did a wonderful job of stacking Josh Allen in the AFC Championship game. It's not really the same thing, but it has similar concepts, similar principles. Being aware of who the danger is and making sure that it's accounted for and making sure that the offensive line that you're coping with can't get the blocks made that they want. The difference is that Buffalo's offensive line is very good. Philadelphia's, to this point, has been elite. And can they deliver that performance on the biggest stage is the question.
All right, Dr. DeCourcy, thank you. Enjoy the game on Sunday, and my Hoosiers will probably lose tonight at the Cole in Madtown, so I'll blame you for that as well. Love you, Mike.
We're going to get rid of all the badness, if you will, over the past few decades for the Raiders and set yourself up for the future. It's a horrible job to take if you expect to win, but it's not a bad paying gig, so go ahead and take it.
With an owner in Mark Davis who has continued to make bad decision after bad decision. Does Pete Carroll leave a culture behind that Joe Brady in 2 to 3 years takes over?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
But don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Back in New Orleans at Radio Row for Super Bowl 59, Eagles-Chiefs, Sunday, 6:30. And look who it is. Unbelievable. And I ran into you last night. Dr. Shivago is here. Dr. David Chow from Sports Injury Central, SixScore.com. Badass website. If you're not on it, you're a loser. You need to get in on this. So I have to tell you, I ran into you down by security. I had a problem there last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a problem, too. I beeped red at first. They weren't letting me in.
So my problem was the guy broke my phone. He smashed my phone. He dropped it on the cement and broke it, and I wanted to kill him. So I went back to, see if anyone was going to do anything for me. And obviously they weren't because they're losers. And they're like, good luck to you. And I'm like, that's some, and I had some choice words you may have heard flying out of my mouth when I saw you. But at least I was nice to you.
You're still a man of the people. Look at you, sitting there with the people walking behind.
Right, yeah. They all get to see I have a bald spot. It's awful for me. It's been humiliating. It's been awful. I need to see my shrink over it. So as we go into this game on Sunday, Doc, what are we looking at here on both sides?
Well, all the question marks are on the Eagles side of the ball.
Really?
Like most Super Bowls, you got to be kind of healthy to get here. This is why the Lions aren't here, right? Every year, if Sports Injury Central is correct, predicting wild card and divisional round games based on the healthier team, it's elimination of the less healthy teams. The Chiefs really don't have any issues. The only question mark is, will Sky Moore clear and return? But that's sort of a minor story. On the Eagles side, one is Brandon Graham. Can he really come back from that triceps tear?
That's what they're saying, that he's going to play. How crazy is that?
Well, I just have.
Isn't he 4 months early?
Yeah, look.
What are you, stupid?
Playing, I get why he might try to play. It may be his last game in his career, go off with the ring. But I don't know how he's going to hold off a blocker with that torn triceps. I don't see how he's going to be effective. And
that's like giving them. It's like giving them an advantage. Can you imagine knowing you got a guy that has a torn, he's out there with he's fresh off of surgery. How in God's name is he going to do that job? He's not.
I was on with Ross Tucker, and he asked me about him, and I said, as an offensive lineman, Ross, if you were playing, how would you feel if you knew you had to go up against the guy with the triceps less than 3 months from his surgery, and he couldn't hold you off the block? He said, we'd love it. We make that the point of attack.
I'm going to take advantage of him.
So I don't know that he's going to, but then, Kenneth Gainwell with the concussion with the 2 weeks, he should clear. Jalen Hurts' knee still isn't 100%. But the bigger issues there for the Eagles are on the offensive line. Cam Jurgens.
So wait, time out. Let's go back to. I want to talk to you about Cam Jurgens for a second, but I want to go back to Jalen Hurts for a second. Jalen Hurts had a concussion, then he had a knee, then he went out and went off in a game and scored, 3 touchdowns? I mean, the guy looked like he was the healthiest he's ever been in his life. I don't buy all of his injuries. Remember the day of the knee, took the knee brace off, and he went out and ran for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
I think you got to give Kellen Moore and the Eagles credit for that, for the scheme that they did. They certainly had less runs than usual RPO runs. He ran the ball effectively when he did run, but he didn't run completely dynamically. They used a lot of downfield passes and A.J. Brown early. They had a good offensive game plan. The Eagles are a great team. But I just don't think his knee's 100%. But that doesn't mean he's not going to do well. There's 2 different stories there.
All right, so I interviewed Cam Jurgens last night.
Oh, okay.
First of all, he has a mullet. And a fantastic mullet. I mean, he's got it shaved up to the side of his. It literally is almost. It's 2 inches above his ear, the side cut, and then the back goes all the way down. And did you know that he had a beef jerky company? Like
no,
he has I think he said he told me he had 7 flavors or something, and he tried to get me to eat beef jerky during that cattle call, otherwise known as media night last night. Did you? So you went in there and you saw that chaos. What do you think of that?
I didn't stay very long. I went in there,
chaotic,
and it's like, I mean. Chaos is basically my last name, but
yeah, but you're chaos with in an operating room, but chaos with people stepping on you and throwing punches and people arguing and fighting. There was a lot of that. Like I saw a lot of people.
What's crazy is you had a whole football field. You couldn't expand the area a little bit.
Honestly, we were in it was like a hockey rink.
Yeah,
like it was like they had us on the outsides of in the middle of the field was wide open.
Yeah, it was tight.
And then. The thing that bothered me about it was they had the athletes in these boxes, and then you couldn't hear them. They had speakers at every one of them, but they didn't work.
So you didn't try the beef jerky, but
I did not try the.
But
the
you took a picture of it with your phone, so you know.
I did. Well,
your phone didn't work.
No, my phone was broken. So what happened was when I interviewed him, the phone didn't work, and I interviewed him for 10 minutes, and it was the funniest interview ever with him trying to give me beef jerky, and I never got 1 second of it recorded because my phone's broken. So I blame the security guard, and I hate him forever. I don't know his name, and I still hate him forever. I just wanted to say that. So you're telling me that that none of the Chiefs have any problems other than a couple of guys dinged up?
Not really. I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes had his recent high ankle sprain that everyone's now forgotten about.
Jesus, that guy and his phony ankle sprains. Honestly, there's never anything wrong with him.
Well, I have to say that Patrick Mahomes, I do think he does get injured, but he's just built differently. He's so flexible. He dislocates his kneecap, and he's the only one that I know that doesn't need surgery. He gets high ankle sprains. The reason why he throws the ball so well is he's so ligamentously lax. He's so stretchy. He's Gumby.
I broke my kneecap.
Yeah, well, for him, he would have just stretched something out, and it would have been fine.
That was awful.
He's Gumby, and that's what makes him the great player that he is. The Chiefs are relatively healthy. I have some concerns of Landon Dickerson with his left knee and Jurgens, but I hope everyone's going to play.
How many Super Bowls have you been to now, Doc?
Oh, at least 10 or a dozen. I'm not.
How many of these Radio Rows have you been to?
Everyone since New York. So count back how many that is. So a dozen maybe? Everyone since New York. I don't know how many more I got in me, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've done 30.
Oh, I'm not going to make 30, that's for sure.
And I've been to the game 15 times.
The only good news is I'm not going to the game because my son, who I took to the the Eagles-Chiefs game in Phoenix, and he's a big Chiefs fan because of Patrick Mahomes, he has no interest in this game because he says it's boring. It's been played before.
Yeah, but did he have fun at the Purdue win over Oregon in Eugene?
He did. He had he had fun at the Clippers game watching Giannis.
Did you get home on time by 8 o'clock? You said you were going to get home by 8. It's good to see you, Doc. My man, Dr. Zhivago, Dr. David Chow from SICScore.com. Don't tell anybody. I'm sick of coming here every year and talking about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look, remember a few years ago we were here, people saying, Andy Reid's going to retire. I'm like, no way. When you're riding Seabiscuit, Secretariat, when you're riding a horse that you know can win, who would jump off that?
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
want me to solve all this tush-push and fourth down malarkey that goes on with the officials? Here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass on the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes, end of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back to Carver High in New York. We're live at Radio Row in New Orleans, obviously, for the Super Bowl on Sunday. And we've been having a kick-ass show today with a lot of great guests. Mike, we're still talking NBA, and there's a lot of guys that are being mentioned before Thursday and that deadline, and KD's one of them, right?
It sounds like KD is one of them. I'm not sure I exactly believe it. But the Suns are allegedly listening to offers for KD. I mean, you talk about taking a total loss if they trade him. Like, they gave up the moon to get KD. There's no way they'd get even a quarter of the return back where he's at this point. So we shall see. I don't believe it until I see it when it comes to him. But the Warriors are allegedly trying to get everybody. Paul George, Kevin Durant. The Warriors need more stars to go with Steph to try to win. Allegedly. Scott.
So if they look, let me ask you this question: do you believe for 1 minute? Are you buying that Riley's still trying to do a deal with Phoenix for Butler? Because if they're making a move for Butler and a flip for Beal, then there's no way they're getting rid of Kevin Durant. They're going to play, bottom line Booker instead of Beal. It's going to be Butler in that spot, and there's no way they'd get rid of Durant, in my opinion, in that position.
Beal said for the 1,000th time last night after the game, he said, "I'm not leaving. I can veto every trade. My family likes it here. I moved my family out to Phoenix after being in Washington. I don't want to go anywhere, so I'm not accepting any trades." So Beal ain't leaving Phoenix. It's just that simple.
That's great.
He's got full veto. So I don't know what they're going to do. I think the Butler stuff with Phoenix is over. I think there's a better chance Phoenix gets rid of KD than takes in more stars at this point. I think that because of the Beal situation.
Do you think that Kevin Durant is going to go back to the Warriors and play with Curry again?
I think it's more possible
That's a
today
yes.
than it was 2 days ago. I think it's possible. I think it sounds like the Warriors are really trying to put someone else big with Steph to try to get something else out of Steph before he's done. So it sounds like they're working on that. A big power struggle in the Western Conference right now.
Do you believe that actually that Draymond Green and Steph Curry and Durant, if they got Durant back, let's say hypothetically, like they get him in a deal by Thursday. I don't know what they'd give up, but let's face facts. The Suns they're so thin it's not even funny. But for Durant, I mean, what would you give up? Wiggins, Kuminga, they'd want Podziemski. Obviously, they're going to want something big to get him. Do you think that they could actually win again a title with Kevin Durant at his age now and Curry at his age and Draymond Green, who I think has precipitously fallen. I do not believe that he's got any. I'm not afraid of Draymond Green anymore. I think he's starting to look like he's going down the other side of the mountain.
I'll tell you this. The Warriors can go get Kevin Durant and Paul George, and I don't think they're one of the 5 or 6 best teams in the West. They could get both of those guys, and I still don't think they'd be in the top 5 or 6 best teams in the Western Conference. I think you said it perfectly. I think you're talking about a lot of guys who are on the other side of the mountain, and you're putting them all together like that. That don't ever work. Remember when the Lakers tried that, like with Malone?
Yeah,
Peyton,
you're right.
Took all the guys on the other side of the mountain. Didn't happen. And I think that's what would happen with the Warriors if they tried all that and tried to throw all that together.
Yeah, it's really a young man's game, right? It's a young man's game.
Yeah, I think so. Bulls are shopping Lonzo Ball. So Lonzo's actually been playing, and maybe he can help somebody on a contender.
Who aren't they shopping? The Bulls. They're shopping the whole team.
Take it down to the studs is basically what they need to do. Strip it down to the studs. All right, we have 7 games tonight in the NBA. We're not going to get to them here because I know you're going to have some stuff at the top of the hour. So in the last hour, we will get all of the 7 games tonight in the NBA. We'll get all the college rack for tonight. We'll get all the NHL for tonight and today's Super Bowl prop sheet. We'll get it all done in the last hour. Some way, somehow, we'll be able to do it.
A day two sheet of integrity prop bets is coming. That's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Yes. We have the 5 plays for Tuesday. We do have them here today on the show.
And I have to say, there are great games tonight. Celtics, Cavs, Knicks, Toronto, Lakers, Clippers at the end to it.
To solve all this tush-push and 4th down malarkey that goes on with the officials, here's a crazy idea. Get rid of the worst rule in the NFL, and that is forward progress. How about this? Where I knock your ass in the ground is where the ball goes, period. Let's end this whole conversation. Like, if I drop you back 4 yards, then you lost 4 yards. If we get rid of forward progress, this tush-push and everything else is taken care of. Where I put your tail on the ground is where the ball goes. End of conversation. It's the dumbest rule and the most arbitrary rule. The only thing that is a worse call in the NFL than forward progress is the punt that goes out of bounds when you watch the official walk down the sideline having absolutely no clue where that ball crossed over. All I can think of is that Price is Right game go do-de-do-de-do, do-de-do-de-do, as he's walking down the sideline, arbitrarily trying to figure out where the ball crossed over because he's got no clue.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
But is it just a matter of his contract, his age? I mean, usually things like this get fixed pretty quickly, but this one is not fixed, and now it's just super uncomfortable.
The opportunity or the idea of getting another team involved adds more complication to the situation, and it doesn't seem like a resolution is anywhere in sight, but the more suspensions come in, the more it's clear that the saga is over, or his time there is over.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.